Welcome back to the Piezo SHOCK Show. You're on episode number 59, and we're going to jump topics from the ultrasonic scalar. We'll be coming back to that displacement measurements and different modes of operation. However, right now I'm going to get straight into this topic, which is really practical, and it is what is the easiest way to determine the polarization orientation of PZT, or for that matter, any other piezo ceramic. The reason you want to know the orientation, most of the time the manufacturer will mark a side, and that mark will go toward the side where positive voltage was applied for um, or positive voltage was applied for the polling process. So in order to align the polarization vectors, if you're stacking multiple piezos together in certain orientations, you'll want to alternate the polarization direction in order to get a net displacement. So then, because the faces of the electrodes will share a face. So let's go ahead and take a look at the easiest way to determine the polarization vector. One is to compress the piezo, and the positive side is going to be then, the side you get positive voltage on when you compress it, that's going to be the dot side. Um, so another way, actually, and I'll show that here, is using using a multimeter, which you can also do the pressing thing um, there. But it's actually easier in order for you not to get and I'm going to be using this piezo buzzer right there. The reason I'm using this is because this is handy. It has leads attached to it, and it was just conveniently laying around. Um, but what you can do is, you see I have a soldering iron, and I will minimize my video here just so I can not burn my hand. Um, so what I'll be doing is I'll just take this, and you see the voltage. It's just kind of in the millivolts right now. And if you actually just heat, you're supposed to generate voltage, positive voltage, right? So positive voltage means wherever the positive side is occurring, that is where the dot goes. Now, if you got a negative voltage, the dot goes on the goes on the negative side, just because the orientation there. So if it's positive voltage, you'll put the dot on the positive side. If it's negative voltage, you'll put the dot on the wherever you have the ground terminal or the negative terminal for your multimeter. The reason why this works, the reason why heating a ceramic, oh, there you go, that went off. So the reason why heating a piezo ceramic is going to create voltage is because that heat creates charge due to the piezoelectric effect. So basically, as you increase as you increase your temperature, you're getting closer to the Curie temperature, where polarization is 0. So there's a change in polarization as you heat the piezo ceramic, the internal polarization, the remnant polarization of the piezo ceramic. That's going to cause um, a charge to appear on the surfaces in order to balance out the total charge in the system. Similar to what would happen when you pressed it, the polarization changes of the material, therefore charges appear on the top and bottom of the surfaces in a kind of a similar way, but due to different causes, uh, and some similar causes, but mostly you can consider them to be different. As the polarization decreases with temperature, you have charges appearing, and that's going to create the charges that you see. So you heat the piezo ceramic, the positive voltage side is going to have a dot. And obviously, if you get negative voltage, you just switch them, and you don't have to do it. You already know there's going to be a dot on the negative side. And the same is true for applying a pressure. If you apply compressive pressure to the piezo ceramic, you'll get a positive voltage on the side where there's a dot. Basically, where you had applied positive polling voltage when you're when creating the polarization, inducing the net polarization in the ceramic. Um, the other thing I want to mention here is that depending on how you're doing this, if you're doing it with an oscilloscope, here I showed using a multimeter, like a really simple approach. Um, depending on how you're doing it, you can get also like your voltages, the charge is continuously bleeding off through your measurement instrument, so that's going to cause an interesting imbalance. So after you remove the heat, you can expect actually the sign of the voltage to change. But I would advise that you use the sign of the voltage during the heating process, not when you remove the heat. So keep that heat steady. And in case of the buzzer, it's a kind of a strange, it's not the ideal device to be demonstrating this. The reason is because it's a unimorph, so there's a brass and there's a ceramic there. So basically, when you heat it, the ceramic's not going to expand, the brass is, so it's going to kind of get some curvature in there, which actually creates the opposite effect. Um, in the case of the buzzer, the kind of structure of the device is going to dominate that charge generation or the temperature coefficients rather than only the pyroelectric effect. But it was just something for demonstrating here. A ceramic I had laying around. But if you wanted to use another, like a piezo ring, or if you wanted to use another type of rectangular element, sometimes you have a rectangular element or you have another type of element, you dice it, you're not sure which side is which anymore. Well, you can do this heating test in order to determine which side the pulling direction is on by applying a little bit of heat. Not directly, but a hot air gun also works, soldering iron, you can even use a hair dryer. You can also blow on it, but that kind of creates, I've tried that, it works, but it also creates some other problems in terms of heating and cooling, depending on how hot your breath is. All right, thanks for watching. You've been on episode number 59 with me. You're hanging. You probably learned a lot from this. This is going to be pretty useful for working. For anyone who works regularly with ceramics to understand this principle. I have a couple of videos on the pyroelectric effect I made a long time ago that kind of go over the polarization vector changes in a little bit more detail. So I'll put a link to that in the notes. Thanks for watching.